Hi, Emily here from Homemade Emily Jane, and this is a video that I've been wanting to make for quite some time. Today I'm going to share with you a tour of my dream sewing room. I hope this video inspires you as you create your own creative space within your home and maybe gives you some ideas for organization or storage of your sewing tools and supplies. If you are looking for inspiration for your dream sewing room, make sure you check out the blog post that is associated with this video. I'll put a link in the description below for you. That article has tons of other things that you might want to consider as you plan out and design your dream space that will suit your needs perfectly. Before we get started, I want to share that this sewing room has been a dream in the making for many years. You'll even find an older video, one of my first actually here on YouTube, right here, of my sewing room from a few years ago. And then this year, about 6 months ago, we moved into this new home, and one of the things that I was looking for in our new home was plenty of space for my quilt shop. So I do this as a business, so you'll see I have a space for bolts of fabric and quilt kits and tons of other things that I sell over at homemadeemilyjane.com. And then in the other room, you'll see my creative space where I do all of my sewing and other creative projects. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is the first room. This room actually does not have a door on it, so I try to keep this room much more tidy. I am a creative mess, so when it comes to my sewing room, it's not ever as clean as it is right now. I cleaned it up just for this video. But I do try to keep this room a little bit tidier because we have to walk past it multiple times a day. So I want it to be very beautiful and something that makes me feel good to be in. So you'll see here I have 3 very tall bookshelves. These bookshelves store all my shop items, so tons of fabric. I do curated fabric bundles, so you'll see it here. I have baskets of fat quarter bundles, baskets of other things that I have for sale in my shop. If you want to see some of those items, it's homemadeemilyjane.com/shop, and I'll put the link in the description below if you'd like to support me there. But beyond that, I also have a couple workstations in this room. So I have this, which is actually a kitchen island. It is plenty large. This blue mat right here that you see on it is 24 by 36 inches, and you see there's plenty of extra space as well. And then this workstation behind me is a kitchen cabinet. So it's actually got 2 of these big mats stacked right next to each other, and then tons of storage underneath, lots of space for packing supplies and patterns. And because it's a kitchen cabinet, the space inside is very wide and deep, so lots of bigger things can fit in there. And then right above it, you'll see I have my pegboard where I keep my scissors, rotary cutters, a ruler, some quilt patterns of mine so I can reference them very quickly. Having a pegboard in a sewing room is just so neat and handy to keep everything within arm's reach and nicely organized. So that is one of my favorite things about this room. I want to give you a little close-up of this kitchen cabinet storage here. It's got a drawer right here, which is great for keeping like things that I need really accessible. I actually store my filming equipment in here too, like the camera that I'm using right now. And then it's got these really big door storage. So because this is a quilt shop, I've got all my packing supplies here, and it's just really deep and wonderful for these really big boxes. So you'll see all of these are really deep and nice for storing bigger items, like rulers or other equipment. I use this space primarily for cutting fabric for my fabric bundles and quilt kits. So having a lot of cutting space is essential for me in this space because I can cut the fat quarters very easily, have space to stack them up, have space to fold them, and I can have little stations throughout all 3 of these giant cutting mats. You'll see when we move just a little bit to the side here, I also have a big blank wall on the side of my room, and I hung up a wire to hang a quilt from. So I can hang up different quilts as I create new patterns. This is the Jubilant quilt pattern, which I actually do currently have kits for in my shop. And it's just hung up with little clips, so I can take it down off the clips and clip up a new quilt whenever I want. And that's just really a fun way to decorate the space with one of my designs. So now that I've shared with you my shop room that has all of my fabric storage and workstations for the quilt shop, I'll go ahead and share you my creative sewing room / home office next. So you'll see right off the bat when you enter this sewing room, you'll see I have my home office area right here with my computer, my monitor, my desk chair, a fun little plant, and that's where I do all of my day job work and my quilt pattern writing. Anything computer related is in this little corner of the room. And I've got a very large workstation in this space, as well as a giant window letting in lots of natural light, which I absolutely love. This workstation is actually built out of 4 different cubby units put together. So I've got 2 6-unit cubbies and then 2 9-unit cubbies. So all of these come together into the perfect workstation that also has organization and storage included. This is really great for storing works in progress or lots of little things that go into baskets. You know, as a quilter or any crafter, you've got tons of little supplies. So anything like zippers, or I have a basket of crochet things and a basket of yarn and those types of things. So this is a really great place for that, as well as patterns or books. As we go a little bit more around the room, you'll see I have storage for my personal stash of fabric in here. It's another one of those tall bookcases. And then my sewing desk where I do all my sewing here, along with some thread storage above my sewing machine, which is just so colorful and pretty and fun to look at. I do have a few other ideas for thread storage, which I hope to share in a later video. You'll see here next to my tall fabric storage, I have like a little gap between the tall bookcase and the wall. And my long-term goal is actually to get another skinnier bookcase and put it there, but it just hasn't happened yet. And to be honest, I keep putting off making this video until I feel like the room is complete. And I don't know if it'll ever be completely done. So this is where it's at right now, and that's one of my hopes for the future. So next, any sewing room is not complete without a space for the sewing machine. This is my sewing desk, which I absolutely love. It's actually something that I got secondhand when I was in college, and I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of it. It is super deep, which is perfect for quilting bigger quilts. It fits my machine very nicely, and it's got drawers. So these drawers are really great for organizing all the little tools that come along with sewing machine things and maintenance. So any cleaning things, all of my extra feet, extra needles, all of that stuff fits nicely into little bins inside the drawers. So they're very easy to access as I'm sewing. Next, I have to share any sewing room needs lots of light. As you can tell, I've got all this great natural light coming in from that giant window I mentioned earlier, but sometimes I might be sewing in the evening hours, especially now that I have a little one and sewing after bedtime. So I have some lights in here that I wanted to point out. I have a floor lamp that's completely adjustable and has a little thing here for like placing a device like an iPad or a phone. And then these things are movable. It's got a few different settings. And then I also have a clamp lamp that's clamped to the side of this desk as well. So I can get light from both directions as I am sewing, working, or even making videos. Those are super helpful. Those are both from OttLight, and I'll put links to them in the description below for you. As we move a little bit more around the room, I've got my cart here that I can store any works in progress or tools, equipment. I have my serger right on top, so it's easy to access when I need to switch out the machine that's on the desk. I also have some fat quarter storage right here, which if you've seen my previous videos, it's been in a lot of my videos before because it's just a beautiful way to display some fabrics. Next up, I have to tell you about my design wall. This is actually attached to the wall, and it's something that we took down off the wall in my previous home and moved it here. It's a layer of cork. It's about a 1/4 inch thick cork that has been staple gunned to the wall with some flannel stapled on top of it. And then my sweet, amazing husband took a nail gun and made this frame out of wood that goes around all 4 sides and really just makes it look so nice and professional, like it's part of the room. And because it is flannel on top, I'm able to easily stick quilt blocks up and take them down, and they stay put when I need them to. So that's my design wall, and then right next to it I keep my ironing board, my little ironing station here with my iron, my spray, everything that I need out and ready to go when it comes to pressing. Now I know this isn't the most exciting part of the room, but this is my home office, which I briefly mentioned earlier. I try to keep it simple and just kind of tucked in the corner here. A nice comfortable chair to sit in, a monitor, my laptop stand, and then some little decorations up here that just kind of go with the theme of the room. And to be completely transparent with you, I wanted to show you my closet. This is not as pretty as the other rooms, but it is part of my creative space, so I wanted to share with you. I use bins and shelves and kind of jam pack everything in here that doesn't have a space anywhere else. So there you go, that's my sewing room. I hope that you've enjoyed getting to see a little glimpse into my creative sewing space and maybe found some inspiration for your own. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. I am working on a couple other videos to share more organization tips and storage ideas, as well as different workstations that I have within my space so that you can kind of figure out some ideas for your own space. So any questions that you have, drop them below and I'll see, maybe I'll make another video about that as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and also check out homemadeemilyjane.com for lots more quilting tips, tricks, and inspiration. Happy sewing!